What is the purpose of Form N400? For the purpose of applying for naturalization, permanent residents utilize Form N400, Application for Naturalization. Naturalization is the procedure through which a person who was not born in the country voluntarily acquires citizenship. The most popular method of obtaining U.S. citizenship for those who were born abroad is naturalization. How can I complete the N400? With the help of our online service, you may complete the application on the same day by following the step-by-step N400 instructions. We even promise that USCIS will accept your application or your money back. You may get instructions from USCIS or use this summary of instructions if you'd rather fill out the Form N400 PDF. General direction. Answers should only be typed or printed in black ink. If your response is not applicable or none if it is none, then the question does not apply to you. Documents in another language must be submitted with a verified full-text translation in English. Send in your application together with the USCIS filing fee, if applicable. Use Form G1450 to pay by credit card or personal check, money order, cashier's check, or cash. All supporting papers should be sent as photocopies unless an original is explicitly needed. Part 1. Indicate your eligibility to become a citizen of the United States under information about your eligibility. If you are unsure, utilize Naturalization package to check your readiness or examine the entire eligibility criteria above. 2, 3, and 4 parts. List your maiden name, present legal name, and any other spellings of your name that appear on any other papers, such as your permanent resident card. The marriage certificate is often a legal name change paperwork if you were married in the United States. Your married name may now be used. In order to issue the Certificate of Naturalization, USCIS will utilize this name. Also include any exemptions you may be eligible for. The English language section of the exam may not be required for certain candidates who have lived in the United States for a considerable amount of time. Indicate any impairments or disabilities for which you would want USCIS to provide allowances under allowances. At the time of your biometric screening and any additional appointments, USCIS will make accommodations for you. Give USCIS a reliable email address and 2 U.S. phone numbers where they may reach you if they need to contact you. USCIS will email applicants more often than they will call. 5, 6, and 7. Please indicate a postal address where you may securely receive mail for information about your residence. At this address, USCIS will send reminders and information about appointments. Also, according to your needs, supply a 5-year physical address history. Prepare the part under information about your parents only if at least one parent is a citizen of the United States. If you don't have any parents who are U.S. citizens, you may skip the whole Part 6. Answer the question about your racial and ethnic identity under biographic information. Describe your height, weight, eye color, and hair color in more detail. Sections 8 and 9. List each job and school you've worked for during the last 5 years for the average candidate under information about your employment. Include any self-employment or military experience as well. If there isn't enough room, provide an addition on a separate page. List each international travel you took throughout your statutory term, usually 5 years, under time outside the U.S. Outside the U.S. travel includes trips to Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean. If you are unable to locate the trips dates with reasonable accuracy, do your best to approximate them. To make sure you fulfill the standards for continuous residency and physical presence, use this spreadsheet. This will be automatically done for you by our online service to prepare form. Keep in mind that any vacation lasting 6 months or more is likely to interrupt your need for continuous residency. 10 and 11 parts. Enter as much information as you can under information about your marital history. It's crucial to be meticulous if your N400 application's foundation is your marriage to a citizen of the United States. Provide specific dates when prior marriages ended. Give the necessary information about each of your children, regardless of their age, situation, or location, under the heading Information about your children. Part 12. Please take your time and make sure you answer each question accurately for the additional information about you section. The excellent moral character criterion for citizenship may be impacted by your responses to these questions. Determine if your responses or connection with a group or organization contradicts with this criterion using your best judgment. Consult a lawyer if you are uncertain. 13.4, 14.5, and 15. Sign your application in black ink on the applicant's statement section. Unexpectedly, many N400 rejections occur as a consequence of applicants failing to sign or signing in the incorrect location. If relevant, please submit information for the preparer and interpreter. If you completed your Form N400, you simply need to sign as the applicant. If the application was translated or prepared for you by someone else, make sure parts 14 and 15 are completed and signed correctly. The 16, 17, and 18th parts. Leave these fields blank. No spots are for answering or signing. At the time of your N400 interview and oath ceremony, USCIS will ask you to fill out and sign these parts. Here is a condensed version of the Form N400 instructions. Downloading the USCIS guidelines or using our service to prepare the application are both strongly advised. We provide filing instructions that are tailored to your circumstances. You will get thorough N400 instructions that outline which supporting papers to provide, how to arrange, and where to ship your application. What conditions must be met on the naturalization application? Before you may submit Form N400 to request naturalization, you must fulfill a number of prerequisites. Generally speaking, in order to qualify, you must be a permanent resident, at least 18 years old, and fit into one of the following three fundamental qualifying categories. Have lived here permanently for the last 5 years, find out more. Now married to, and living with, a citizen of the United States, and have been so for the previous 3 years, find out more. Now serving in the U.S. Armed Services, or intending to do so within 6 months of receiving an honorable release, and having completed at least 1 year of service. You may submit the application up to 90 days before you fulfill the continuous residence criterion if you are applying based on 5 years of permanent residency or 3 years of permanent residency while married to a citizen of the United States. All additional conditions must be satisfied when you submit your application to USCIS. Filing charge: $640. Where applicable, add the $85 biometric charge for a total of $725. Exceptions are shown below. You may pay your charge online if you submit Form N400 online. You may pay the filing fee with a money order, personal check, cashier's check, or credit card by utilizing Form G1450, Authorization for Credit Card Transactions, if you submit your Form N400 by mail, paper. You must make your check payable to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security if you want to pay by check. Dates for filing. If your eligibility for naturalization is based on being one of the following, you may submit Form N400, Application for Naturalization, 90 calendar days before you fulfill your continuous residency requirement. 5 years minimum of being a permanent resident, 3 years minimum of being a permanent resident if you are married to a U.S. citizen. What is the time frame? USCIS reports processing delays that are more than a year. For most candidates, the processing period for Form N400 might range from 8 to 12 months. The majority of applicants must show up at 3 distinct appointments during the process: the biometric appointment, the naturalization interview, and the oath ceremony. Making a good application is the greatest method to guarantee a smooth procedure and speedy processing time. Of course, you have to satisfy the prerequisites. However, it's also crucial to deliver a tidy and structured application bundle. Visit our N400 processing timeline for a detailed look at what occurs after submitting Form N400. Only correctly filled forms are included in reporting for processing times. USCIS will reject or decline these requests if a person fails to properly complete a form or otherwise does not meet eligibility conditions. The most current year's national data were provided by USCIS as follows.